We're here at day 2 at Consensus 2026 at the Miami Beach Convention Center. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with Brett Swarts with Capital Gains Tax Solutions. So I really want to know what brings you here to Consensus and what are you most excited for coming for the future of DeFi?
You know, Walter, I'm here. Great to meet you and pleasure to be on the show. I'm here to make friends, influence people, also learn a lot from people in this space. Our background is mostly real estate and business exits, but we now have done Bitcoin and some digital currency exits. And so really it's focused around capital gains tax exit planning. And we exist to unlock capital gains to multiply freedom and impact. The same movement with Bitcoin for freedom and stuff is the same fight with tax. And if you need to have both, and if you have both coupled with timing on exit planning, you can really take advantage of different markets at different times.
No, people need to learn that about, right? It's like, how do I make it? How do I get into it? And of course, the biggest one is, how does it work with taxes? So I think definitely what you're bringing to the table, educating the future of finance, and especially as we're seeing people are learning that we are going from TradFi to DeFi. And I think it's going to be amazing what you're bringing in. So can you tell us a little bit more into depth what it's all about and how we can even learn to utilize this?
Yeah, so you know the concept, if you borrow against your Bitcoin or your coin, you don't pay tax on what you borrow against. It's kind of a typical margin is what people would call it. Well, think of that concept except being able to sell your coin at a certain price to a trust in exchange for a promissory note, another way of kind of borrowing. But in this scenario, you become the lender. And this is what opens up the world of timing for exit planning. And so real simple, we had a client, had Bitcoin that they bought for about 50,000 and it went to 50 million in value. Had never sold with like a lot of never seller Bitcoiners, right? But the reason she did sell was because she thought the value was a good value at about 55,000 a coin. We exited 5 million, deferred all the tax. Now they end up going to about 68,000 a coin, but dropped to 15. So at first we thought, oh, maybe you sold a little bit too early, but really down to 15, she thinks she sold pretty good. But the point is what she could do with that 5. She could defer about 2 million of tax, use that money to invest into a startup company to make an impact for kids that are, she wants to help them with like Khan Academy online education. So that was the company she formed, tax deferred with the money. So it's not just what the value of it, it's what you can do with it tax deferred is what we're really focused on.
No, honestly, I call it like the alchemy of currency, what you see you can do with DeFi. And people need to know that. What do I do? How do I take it? And of course, you're seeing a lot of countries around the world and even the states here, United States, have been ready saying, hey, if you hold Bitcoin for 1 year, you get, tax benefits. So I think it's going to be a very interesting topic. And I think you're ahead of the game because people need to know that. And we've seen cycles that people were like, oh, Bitcoin, the cycle's done and stuff like that. I think right now we're more in a, stagnant uprise. But as well, you've seen that the cycles do happen. We saw that happening, of course, at almost around the end of 2025, and this, dip, what we call, right, went down. And I think that's where people need to learn, okay, what do I do in these situations? Should I take out? Or also, what can I do if I do get these tax benefits to then increase my value of my gain? So
to that point, if you sell real estate, you can defer tax and go into Bitcoin. If you sell a piece of stock, NVIDIA stock, if you're selling a business. So we've done business sales that go into Bitcoin. We've gone real estate sales that go into Bitcoin. We've done Bitcoin that goes into business. So it's tax deferred, and that's really the thought. Real estate kind of hit a peak at 2021, 2022, and we were able to sell, like example, a $13 million exit out of San Diego for a couple clients, and we bought Bitcoin at 40,000 a coin at that point, right? And we had a nice run up. So this is the type of thing that's possible if you have your capital gains tax deferral plan in place. So that's what we build, capital gains tax exit plans for those who want time to be on their side. And just a thought for you, right? If you knew that you could sell in 60 to 80 or 80 to 100, 100 to 120, it seems to jump into these areas. Well, if I can sell it at what I think is, let's say 100 right now, we're at 80, and I know it's going to drop back down to 80 or have at least a sense of that, tax deferred, I can buy it back in low or high. And that's the concept, right?
Wow.
So for those who are like, hey, never sellers, well, what if the concept was you're always going to be buying, but you're going to play the strategic game because a lot of the large institutions are playing that game, right? Where they're going in and they're pulling the rug and they're playing the arbitrage game, right? So we give the regular person, if you will, right, the chance to play that outside of the tax world without moving to Puerto Rico. So that's the way we put it.
Bro, what I'm hearing right now, everybody's going to want to learn more about what you're doing with capital gains, tax solutions, because we need to know, we need to have some strategy to it. And, everybody always wanted to learn more about the loopholes you can do with traditional finance, but with digital finance, honestly, sky's the limit, and there's so many key things that people need to know. So I love what you're doing, Brett. And where can we find you, on your website or maybe social media platforms?
Yeah, you go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com or look up brettswarts.com, capitalgainstaxsolutions.com.
Awesome. But I appreciate you as well. And yeah, let's go. Day 2 consensus.
Thanks,
Let's
Paul.
get it.
Yeah.
DeFi